Dude, he's so funny. A lot of people will say like, oh, he's faking it. He's actually brilliant. Honestly, if he is, then this is brilliant. Like it's like if he's faking it, that means he's insanely smart and can present it in a very like natural way. Oh, the Theo episode came out already?
I want to say thank you for the support.
God damn, he posted that real quick. Thanks for having me and Kaya on the show. Show some love to this episode. Go watch it. Go like it. Go subscribe. Okay? Go do the dang thing because, you know, I'm sure that people will be actively brigading it.
Support of our merch. Really.
Thanks, Hasan. I'm sorry. You know this. You know this. You got love for the game. That's why you do it, right? Okay. Why would he say that? It feels like I made so many requests where I'm like, oh my God, I need to have my dog here, all this shit.
No, dude, I'm just somebody's how stylish. You're like probably, yeah. Or is that?
This is just, the top is just some, I mean, both are Japanese, I think, actually.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's a Japanese brand called Color with a K. And the pants are Adidas Y3, Yoji Yamamoto collab.
Damn.
You're telling your audience to go watch a podcast you're a guest on? How dare you? You want us to like and leave nice comments? You're such a monster. I know. I like that people, without even a shred of irony, thought that was called brigading. It's called normal process when you do a podcast that you're in. Brigading is when you're not a part of the podcast and you actively tell your stupid ass audience to write insane under the comments of said podcast. That's brigading, you. Brigading is not when you go, hey, go and write some nice comments and support the show that I was a part of. I'm sorry. That is the dumbest. That was the dumbest point of contention that I saw online, that people were just like, this guy's a real bad guy. He's brigading. It's almost as dumb as people that think that I am responsible for like who gets banned and who does not get banned online on Twitch. Like, I control it. I control the media chat. Remember, you're not beating the small head allegations without jacket? Okay, calm down. All right.
You don't fuck.
All right, I gotta pee. Also, let me get you.
I mean, yeah, I don't.
I'm gonna get you food.
I mean, you got to look though.
I mean, I don't like to have a lot of.
Should we save this for the pod? That's normal. Oh, we're rolling. No, you. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, yeah. My bad. That's why I didn't have it on the. That's why I didn't have it in my mouth because I thought we weren't filming yet.
Yeah, dude, that is style. That's I mean, yeah, it's definitely very stylish. My good friend Aaron, he started a company called John Elliott.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah, they have him like in Norsham, and it's like they have like it over like. I think it was like right after like G Star kind of came out. Like I got into some G Star for.
Oh, you got some G Star?
That was like let me see what we're doing. Kind of as I got. I would like to have more fashion sometimes. I just don't know if I don't care.
Well, you gotta look.
I get too overwhelmed. I like knowing like there's about 17 or 18 things that I wear that'll be okay.
Bro, you gotta look. You can't be saying, I need to get into fashion, and you're making a deliberate choice to not have a mustache and grow a beard out.
Oh, you think so?
I feel like that's a look.
Maybe that. I never thought about that. Yeah, I guess
you got the flannel.
It's that little bit like a sock for your chin, kind of, I guess.
Yeah. That's brave, by the way. I just gotta say.
To do just this?
Yeah, I think it's brave.
But do you think that's a cultural thing? What culture is your family from?
I'm Turkish.
Okay, so in Turkey, is that a thing? Do you see just this ever in Turkey?
Like, sometimes. I mean, we don't got Amish people. Normally, the only time you see the beard and the no mustache combo is if they just go with the full one.
Oh, yeah. That's
and it's just like, I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, I saw a guy with a huge beard the other night at a comedy show. I think it was in Ohio. He had a huge beard and then an Edgar, that kind of Mexican kind of Edgar cut in the front.
I love that.
Oh, it was great. This guy was ginger. I mean, probably Amish or recently Amish or once removed or whatever. And he had
How does that work?
I mean, you could tell somebody in his somebody at fucking. He probably had nails in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? He definitely somebody. I don't know, man. But no, you're probably the most I'm trying to think of somebody else more stylish that's come in here. Oh, here's some facial hair types right here. This is very important.
Bro, this is like that Russian ethnicities photo grid. You know what I'm talking about? Like in the USSR. This is crazy.
This does look like.
Yeah, they're like, they're showing us the different kinds of Armenians.
Yeah. This does look like 40 degrees of Uber. That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
right
see,
here.
look, that's what I'm talking.
Oh, I thought this was one of those terror watch charts, dude.
No. This is like look at all the different ethnicities in the USSR. It's to be better at racism.
Well, that's what dude. Racism used to be so easy in America. Like when I was growing up, it was like easy to do, easy to be racist. Now, I've been to these. It's almost like you have to have a chart. You have to have.
Yeah, that's what
a calculator to even be racist now. It feels like.
Yeah, I hate that. God damn it, racism used to be so easy.
Yeah, what happened to the good old days? You could just point out the window, and your stepdad just knew immediately what was going on. You know?
Yeah, I think it's just extra difficulty now. That's what it is. So you have to be smarter as a racist.
Yeah, there's a
We're trying to make the races better.
Yeah,
it's mad that you're having like the racism conversation. I'm glad you paused there because look at behind your.
Oh, Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
That's the GOAT. He did it right. Okay.
Yeah, he left. It was not ambiguous.
Yeah. He didn't want anybody to.
He didn't want anybody to not really get what he was
saying. Yeah. We prestige racism, baby. Let's go. Exactly. Don't just click on the first thing you see, bro. Scroll through.
What I saw what's.
That's crazy.
Fine.
No, his mic is not off. There's a dangling XLR cable on it because I swapped the cable out.
Yeah, dude, because you said there's like a barrier to entry now.
Yeah, there's a barrier to entry to doing racism. Like it's like
all right.
it's
get the size.
It's unironically a more difficult process now. But what I was gonna say is, if you want to go back to the facial hair chart,
yeah, bring it up again, please, because I want to know what we're doing. Or was it yours, the other one?
No, that was just a USSR race chart, but
yeah, you can also get that USSR chart is easily a lot of those men you'll see a meeting with very young girls at Starbucks trying to get them involved in something. A lot of times it seems like.
Yeah.
But what is this one?
What do you got? You got the chin curtain? No, you got the goatee. That's what you have.
Yeah, I guess I have the goatee. It's very simple, kind of. It's like I have a big nose, so I try to you do little things to try and, trick a wife or you want to have a spouse. So I have that, and then I have a little bit more chin than my brother does. So I have a real chin in here. Some people, it's a total mirage. Like, there's a guy that's in that power slap game, and they can't even he has this
They can't identify where his chin begins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, especially when dudes have that situation going on, and then they'll just grow out their beard and basically try to line it up so that there's a chin there. And it's like, bro, you are not fooling anybody. I don't even know what to do in that situation. If you got that no neck edge shit, then you're kind of cooked regardless.
Yeah,
but. I mean, good luck. I don't know.
There is the one where it's crazy where sometimes, they cut the hair exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no neck Ed. Yeah. He's doing real estate now too. He was doing lemonade sale. He was in he got caught up in big lemonade, or not big lemonade, but lemonade.
Big lemonade.
He was selling, I think he was involved with lemonade for a bit. I saw him selling
he was involved with like a child? What do you mean?
No, he was selling, he got caught up, Ed and Pete's, there it is, something like that, or lemonade.
Oh, he actually had his lemonade brand.
Yeah, he was selling it.
I thought he was literally saying he's selling lemonade out of a stand like a kid.
He actually ran a lemonade stand before he got into real estate after reality TV.
Yeah, or he made a lot of money at the lemonade stand and had enough capital for a down payment.
It was the opposite of, they have long
lemonade.
Yeah.
Long neck bottle. That was the whole play on it.
Oh, that's weird.
I know.
That's such an odd thing that he was. So he made like a short and stubby one.
Yeah. Who wants that baby lemonade out of Ed? Oh, he definitely looked like the kind of guy.
You muted it.
I muted Noah.
He wanted to shame me.
I said enough of
enough.
I'm silencing Jewish voices. I said enough. We've done enough.
Looks like that fancy syrup. You ever see the fancy bottle of syrup and it doesn't have, Bring it up if you can. It's kind of light brown.
The first
There's a
like
brown
10
top
minutes
on it.
is just like us rambling ADHD style about like the dumbest shit, okay? He just keeps moving the conversation to a different place. Wait, what's going on? Oh, the reverb. Oh, I have to lower your audio because Simone was.
Oh, right, because she's her voice is her voice is not mine.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. It should be fine now.
It's maple syrup, but it's wide.
Oh, like the maple version, like that.
Yeah, the 365 by Whole Foods, that matte finish one.
Yeah, the one that looks like a liquor bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like an old brown jug.
That one, yeah.
He kind of had that. Anyway, I feel bad we're making fun of the guy now.
Yeah, he wasn't, I don't know. I remember watching 90 Day Fiance and he didn't seem like a good dude.
Oh, really?
He didn't strike me as like a very nice guy, but I mean, who knows?
Oh, I'll jump on a hate wagon in a heartbeat, dude.
Oh,
head, bro.
Yeah.
No, but I saw the other day he's doing real estate, man. Hasan Piker, thanks for coming in, dude.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Now we start 8.5 minutes of just like riffing in no discernible direction. Only
having me.
I know you're super busy, man. I admire first of all how streamers, how the effort it is. It almost seems like it's like one of those races in the Olympics that it's like an endurance game.
Yeah.
But also just like your openness to like thinking about things. You don't seem like just like one type of person or like you could pigeonhole you.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I mean,
but even just in your own beliefs, like in, when you talk about political stuff, it's like you seem very poignant, but also like aggressively open to things, which I think, and that's a judgment, and maybe I shouldn't have said something like that. But anyway, I just admire the way that you do things, dude. So I appreciate you coming and hanging out. That's all I should have said.
Thanks for having me. I think streamers are basically like the bottom of the totem pole as far as content creators goes. Like, it's definitely laborious, but I wouldn't say that it's like super difficult because like overall a Hollywood production, if that is like the highest stage of like content creation, and you have hundreds of people working all around the world, working around the clock to put like 2.5 hours of content together where everyone's gonna sit there and watch. Twitch streaming is like the lowest of the low, where it's just like a dude like me half the time, picking at his crotch, watching YouTube videos, picking his nose. And it's,
you do that?
It's
always,
you have to be on for 8 hours.
not when I have guests on though. I can't pick up my crotch when I have
Hollywood
guests
production,
on.
If that
which is a real hurdle. Okay. Oh, now we have captions. Nice.
all I would say, it's like the lowest tier of content, lowest effort of content.
Would you say that it's the purest of content though, in a weird way? Like, because it's,
I mean, what I do
you
is
can't
like,
hide.
Yeah, what I do is AM radio, but what I do is basically AM radio, but for Zoomers. I like that's how the way I describe myself. Like, like I'm sure Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
Like that's the way that I describe what I do to older people in general. Where like I'm like Rush Limbaugh, but without the brain rot.
Yeah,
quite literally and figuratively. I mean, he did die of brain cancer.
Did he? He had addiction, I know.
Yeah, he also had a hole, I think, in his brain from all the perks. He was perked up. He was a perked up shouty.
Well, he was definitely my body, yeah. I think he definitely was one of the early. He was almost like a rapper in a way. I think he had the women. Bring up Rush Limbaugh's wife. Let's even get a.
No, I don't know. I
Is
feel
this
like
mean?
those guys don't. I don't know why. Like unless they're gay, the gay conservatives, like the ones in the closet, like they. Okay, never mind. She's kind of a looker, huh?
I mean, she's better looking than him.
Yeah, I mean that's not saying much.
That's true, but still,
Like,
I've seen. Yeah, sometimes you get a. Yeah, she has a very. Who does she look like a little bit? I've never seen his wife. Rush Limbaugh's widow, Catherine.
she kind of looks like in that photo where they're kissing. She kind of looks like Walter White's wife. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
From Breaking Bad,
the blonde-haired lady.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like hotter.
And Tori Spelling a little bit too. She looked like, if you go back one, Tori Spelling was probably before your time. But oh yeah, she does. Yeah, I never looked at his wife. Yeah, I never seen a picture of her before.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird if you were just like out there Googling Rush Limbaugh's wife.
Yeah, well, you just
I do that all the time. I look at all my favorite conservative commentators' wives.
you just think like, yeah, I guess what do people? I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's good.
Theo is out unking me because someone in the chat said he's 44 years old. I didn't even know that.
Doing that. What's one of the toughest things about streaming that people don't understand though?
I'll say it like this. Back in the day, Joe Rogan used to always talk about how when you do a 3-hour podcast, like there are so much that people can just like clip out of that and then take out of context, like rob it of its nuance and rob it of its context. And it was funny because like at the time when he was saying this, like podcasting was a relatively new medium. I'm talking like 2014, 2015 when when he like first was building out the Joe Rogan experience, right? Mm-hmm. Every other week, seemingly, the media would yell at him over some that he said on his podcast. And he was like, we're having an honest discussion. It's 3 hours. It's back and forth. It's going to happen. Like, things are going to get taken out of context. I think for Twitch streaming, that's tuned up to 11, where not only am I live, I'm talking about politics, which are, I'm talking about some really crazy issues, hot button topics. And also, I'm doing that with a live audience who's constantly chirping at me in real time, trying to constantly piss me off. And then when they do successfully piss me off, they'll clip that and post it on Twitter, post it on Reddit, be like, call out post. This guy's bad. Look at what he said. And, when you got like crazy dedicated haters too, especially because you're doing politics in general, you're going to have a lot of crazy dedicated haters. They just do, they just compile all of that to be like, this is a bad person over and over and over again. Like you'll see it in the comments section of this video. There will be a ton of people who are going to come in and be like, this guy is a bad dude. Like he said this, he said that. Cause like the major reason obviously for that is because I'm anti-Israel. Like I'm pro-Palestine. I've been pro-Palestine for quite a while. And that really brings out the crazies.
Does it really?
Oh yeah. You haven't encountered this? I mean, you had Gabor Mate on.
Yeah, we had Gabor Mate. We had a rabbi. We had Bassem Youssef on. We definitely have tried to like learn some about it. I think in the end, for me, it just became like my feelings just tell me that it's just messed up what's happening to those people. It's like, and that a lot of it was covered up by the media, or they didn't want you to share certain information, or you weren't allowed to.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's how it's always been, though. It's not just for Israel. It's just in general. Like when it comes to American foreign policy, the American media is fairly one note. Our politicians are one note on it too. They're bipartisan on that.
Right.
That's like.
So when you say that, do you mean that they're all in on the same? It's all kind of the same ruse. Do you mean?
Yeah. They all agree. It's always uniparty when it comes to American foreign policy. When it comes to giving money to Israel. When it comes to a lot of that stuff, like going to war with Iraq. Right. You got the media also presenting that lie that they have, chemical weapons, they have weapons of mass destruction, and uncritically reporting on that to justify going to war with Iraq, going and invading a foreign nation that we had no business invading.
Right.
So that happens all the time.
Do you think that that's starting to get upset even by like podcasting, streaming? Do you think that apple cart's starting to change? It feels like.
Oh, for sure. I think that the
independent
media, the independent media sphere definitely is like dominating, partially because of that reason. Sometimes for bad reasons. People have lost confidence in media when they just don't like what they're reporting, even if they're reporting the truth. And then there are plenty of major reasons, like Jeffrey Epstein's death. Like you go to any outlet, most of them are going to rule it a suicide. No critical reporting on it whatsoever. Just unconditionally saying like, no, it was definitely a suicide. Like. The average American doesn't feel that way. And also there's very valid reasons as to why they don't feel that way. Israel is another great example of this, where like it was like 80% of Americans wanted a ceasefire. And yet if you look at
also
all the way from
Epstein's an Israeli spy.
Yeah.
The Fox News,
that's why I did
every single outlet was just like, no, you don't understand. Israel has to kill these children. Like, please. No, you don't understand. Oh. Like, can you imagine? Imagine a role reversal in that situation where, like, You got Laden's best lads on CNN immediately after 9/11 being like, listen, like we had the Twin Towers. Like you don't, the World Trade Center, it was right there. It was asking for it.
One of them was a little askew.
Yeah. We had to fix it.
I think it's crazy. Well, there's that famous video that got shared a few years ago, like during COVID, when it was like every channel was reporting the same exact. It was just the same script. It was almost just
Sinclair Broadcasting.
Yeah.
So that's ironically a lot of right wingers spread that one.
Is that true or not?
No, it is. But that's right wing. That's Sinclair Broadcasting. It's like a right wing media company that basically bought out all the remaining local news broadcasters.
Wow.
So it's like an umbrella. Right-wing media is all over the place, actually, and a lot of people don't realize it. Like whenever Fox News talks about like mainstream media lies, I'm like, bro, you are the most popular news network in the country. What do you mean mainstream media? Like you're dominating everybody else.
Point. So you're saying that a lot of times mainstream media is also right-wing media.
Yeah, right-wing media is so dominant. And in the independent side, right-wing media is dominant as hell too. But like on the mainstream side, right-wing media is incredibly dominant. They dominate the local news with Sinclair Broadcasting and also all the way up to Fox News, which is the most famous, which is the most like successful network news broadcaster in the country.
Is Fox News the most watched news network?
By widest margins.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's not even close. CNN and MSNBC, Trump always talks about how CNN and NBC are, in the pooper. Their ratings are awful. These guys love presenting themselves as vulnerable victims, and I really always get annoyed by that. Like they say that about, they used to always say that about like Facebook too. They're like, oh, they're banning stuff, and I'm sure they banned like vaccine denial or whatever, right? Because Facebook wanted to be woke and liberal. Until Mark Zuckerberg got hit with the Dominican Ray. But
so then when people say mainstream media, then I guess what did it, because it always felt to me like that every outlet was just always super liberal. That's what it felt like.
They are. No, for sure. Like a lot of like the New York Times, you got CNN, ABC, CBS, like NBC, these outlets are liberal. Now obviously I'm a little bit of a radical, I guess. So I'm definitely not fond of the Democratic Party either, even though my criticisms of the Democrats are because of their closeness to the Republicans in general. But yeah, they are. I would say that they're definitely liberal, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're like on the side of the people or anything like that, or on even the progressive side of many of these issues. And that's why I said there's this uniparty attitude. Like liberals and Republicans, they basically come together and agree when it comes to giving more money to Israel.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
T-Pain was on on a yacht, got a nice view of the debris from SpaceX. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Look at this.
Can you imagine not knowing about SpaceX and seeing this?
Wait, is it coming
sorry.
back down or hey, it's going down, right?
Does look like it's going down.
Wait, is it going back to Florida?
No, that's the stuff
It's
that
like
burns
famous last words. Wait a minute.
It's going down, right?
That's coming closer and closer to us.
off in
Where's the rest of where's the one that keeps going?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It looks like it's all going down.
No, I'm not gonna say nothing else. Holy shit, that's crazy, chat. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's just
That was awesome.
that was so cool.
It's Russia. It's Russia.
Thank
We did.
you.
Everybody did.
Pip and Kava missed it.
We did.
M. Hunt has been spamming this to prove to the haters that he was right, that the link he sent was correct. And I admire his dedication to his art.
Not the voters. I'm talking like institutions. I'm talking politicians.
Yeah,
in
well,
general.
that seems to be, I think, it feels so far away from being represented. Like the people feel so far away from being represented, and I feel like that seems like it's gotten further and further in my lifetime. I can't tell if it's just because I'm getting older, and so you hear about more stuff like that, or if it's actually true. But I think people just feel like, like, why are we having to audit our own government? Whether or not the means that they're going about it are good or not. But it's like the fact that people are cheering to have our own government audited. The fact that it's like, that 80% of the people would would say they don't support what's happening in Gaza, but yet we would still send money to Israel. Like, I think
Trump has done that. The other day, Trump was like, yo, we can't give any more money to Ukraine, right? You're done. He's like, Zell Disney, you're out. And then he turns around and he's like, also, we're sending $3 billion of weapons and bulldozers to Israel pronto.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Bring that up.
3.4 billion, I believe, on the same day. Yeah, Rubio bypasses Congress to send Israel $4 billion in arms. They were like, oh, we have to expeditiously send this out to Israel.
Arms for what?
What do you mean? To continue killing Palestinians.
Is there anybody left there?
Yeah. There's still a million plus Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. They're basically just like living in the rubble, trying to rebuild. I mean, these are some of the most resilient people on the planet. Like they've been through hell a million times over, you know?
Yeah, you still see a lot of great, like there was a beautiful video, I'm not sure if it was AI or not, of them trying to celebrate Ramadan the other night in the rubble.
The long table?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was real, though. I don't think that was AI. Because I saw people taking photos of that. Yeah, I mean, also the other side of this is like the Gaza Strip is like overwhelmingly children. Like we're talking,
I know.
Like the average age is 14. People are like 50+% are minors.
Well, I think
that's before October 7th.
But like a year ago, people would be afraid to have, I think, this conversation people be afraid.
Oh, for sure.
Including us. Like I'd be afraid that.
No, I mean, look, I've been openly pro-Palestinian emancipation for the past decade, and I've seen a major attitude shift.
You're like, the Turkish Macklemore, dude.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because he's been.
When I was in third grade, I thought I was gay.
No, did he do that?
That's what was his song.
Oh well, dude, you got to be pretty. You have to have an open attitude to even think that way in third grade.
Oh my God, we're lying.
Dude, he's so funny. A lot of people will say like, "Oh, he's faking it. He's actually brilliant." And honestly, if he is, then this is brilliant. Like it's like if he's faking it, that means he's insanely smart and can present it in a very like natural way, you know?
But no,
yeah,
he's been unabashedly afraid to share about Palestine, you know?
Yeah. No, he's had his heart changed. I think his heart's in the right place. Like I think he's doing great.
He was from the beginning about it. I mean, he was early on it.
Yeah.
Not like 10 years. He hasn't been, but since it became like more of a hot button issue in the past 3 or 4 years, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll never discard allies. That's an amazing thing to look at the situation with clarity, with moral clarity, and just be like, listen, I didn't know enough about this, and now I've recognized the cruelty of what we are doing. Like, because that's the other thing. Like, America, whether we agree to it or not, or whether we recognize it or not, is like participating in this in a pretty meaningful way. They're offering political cover at the UN. You got the basically war crime cops out there at the ICC and ICJ, the International Court of Justice, which prosecutes state on state prosecutions. You have the International Criminal Court, which is a court that prosecutes war criminals, right?
And both of them have issued for Netanyahu to be arrested, right?
So South Africa has a case against Israel for genocide that's ongoing, and at the ICJ and at the ICC, the International Criminal Court has a prosecutor that has issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant for the crime of doing a genocide, for being war criminals, intentional starvation of a captive civilian population. It's a pretty obvious war crime. So.
Well, I just think it's, honestly, bro, some of it I think is kind of like, and I hate to say that because some people don't believe in them or whatever, but it's like, I think if your military is so great, send in snipers and get the bad guys. That's how I feel. Do some covert op shit, but just to be like.
Their military's ass, though. That's the problem. They just have overwhelming firepower and air superiority. That's it.
But that's the part to me. It's like, send in some, if those are the bad guys, send in and get do some. It just felt like this. I don't know. It just started to feel gross. And then the great thing was, it feels like you couldn't hide it from a nation. You could not hide from the world that what they were doing was wrong. But going back to what you're saying, how much are we complicit in so many of these?
I mean,
types of things that happen in different countries, and do we, need to be.
No, I think we are complicit. I mean, that's how I feel about it, at least. But that's why I actively urge people to protest and do everything in their power to try to put an end to this, because I think we have a lot of power in this regard in the United States of America. I don't think that America is like a true democracy by any means, and this kind of stuff basically puts that on display for everyone to recognize. Or, you know, whenever people go, hey, can we get health care? And the government's like, you, then you're like, what? Like, this would be nice to have, you know, socialized medicine. But you still got to keep trying.
It's that time, baby. It's that time to get that thing on ya. Get that thing on.
Your hands are bloody individually.
Complicity,
in terms of like your hands are bloody individually, but the least you can do is not actively champion America doing this stuff, and also go out and protest, like and try to give a voice to voiceless people that are just being massacred for no reason.
Yeah. Why is there such a strong bond between America and Israel? I've heard Candace Owens was saying that she thought it was blackmail, but why do you think there's really such a strong bond?
Candace Owens got a lot of thoughts on that stuff. I think there's like two different camps here. You got people who critically analyze the relationship with Israel, and then you got people who are like, it's the Jews, you know? I am in the critically analyzing the situation camp rather than just being like, oh, it's Jews because they got mind control powers or whatever the people say. It's because it is an unsinkable aircraft carrier in a resource-rich region, and it has its own espionage facilities, and that is the reason. Like we basically carried over from the British this settler colony in the region that we can just kind of use. Or have a collaborative relationship with, and it's incredibly valuable for us. So valuable that, like, I mean, Israel's blown up USS Liberty like a American Navy ship.
Yeah.
And basically,
that was in the 50s, I think.
Yeah, in that process, like, it was an incredibly valuable Cold War ally, because we were terrified of Israel going and like collaborating with the USSR. You got Arabic nationalism happening all around the region. All these countries that are developing nation states are doing so on the boundaries of you know, defeating their colonial occupiers, whether it be French colonialism or British colonialism, and simultaneously they're looking to the USSR, right? And they're like, you know, maybe you guys will help us out. This seems like a cool thing that you guys got going on over there. This socialism stuff ain't too bad. America goes, that. And they basically hit the Israel button as hard as they could, where they were just like, you guys are going to be
Theo does not know what you're talking about, Lamont. Okay, dude, I oversimplified it to begin with, and I think he understood what I was saying. Also, this conversation is not just happening between me and Theo. We're both broadcasters, chat. It's a conversation for the audience. You know that, right? Like, you understand that, right? Also, I think Theo Von knows a lot about Israel. I mean, he knew USS Liberty, probably for not so great reasons, but because that used to be like literally, I would have factored that in like 10 years ago as like a Nazi dog whistle.
Oh, totally. Like there's like a whole right wing trope there of like Pat Buchanan style guys being like, oh, like we gotta like, we can't do it. You know, like we like Israel will blow us up and attack us. The Jews will, you know, like cut our own if we let them. And so why are we taking out Saddam for them or whatever? It's an old trope.
Yeah. So loud now. Okay. Suck my chatters. Oh my God. That's crazy. We can't hear jack shit. Now you're like, oh, it's so loud. Figure it out.
Wow.
Be our extension.
Right.
It's like some of my friends say there are favored client states, and then there are client states that America just discards. Ukraine is obviously a non-favored client state, and that's what happens when you're done with Ukraine, where you're like, I'm done with this, you know, pack it up, give me all your minerals, even if you have any, who knows, I don't care, you know your place. America does this to the Kurds all the time as well, where they'll just like arm them and be like, yeah, you guys need to get you guys need to develop a nation state. It'd be nice. Kurds are an ethnic minority in the region.
Okay.
35
where?
million people.
In what region?
In the Middle East. 35 million people don't have a nation state. A lot of them live in Turkey.
So kind of homeless kind
Iraq. Well, yeah, yes and no. And there's like varying degrees of cruelty that they're subjected to in these countries as like an ethnic minority, my country included in Turkey.
Wow.
And they want to build a nation state. They got an autonomous region in Iraq now. They're in Syria as well. They're in Iran as well. And then
So they're trying to
also
figure
in
it out.
Turkey. Yeah, so America will go up to them and be like, we're going to arm you guys. We're going to train you guys. Go f it up. And then as soon as they're done, they just discard them. And they're like, okay, go. They'll tell Turkey you can go and, bomb these villages that they're in. Who cares? It doesn't matter anymore.
So what you're saying, I think it's like that's one of the things that makes it tougher. The more information you learn, I think, in the world, it's like
the shittier things seem.
Yeah, in some ways.
True.
But the reality of things, you just see the reality. It's like, yeah, you need. And if you were playing a game of Risk and you were these powerful people, how would you operate? And yeah, it gets to be tough to find out, okay, well then what does being an American still mean to me? And then also that things are so conflicting and dangerous out there amongst these like leaders and powers that you have to like kind of put a flag in something for yourself, just to kind of get to, because otherwise you'll just be sort of aimless, it feels like.
Well, I mean, I think I
don't know if I'm even explaining that fully right, but
you got to stand for something. Is that what you're saying? If you don't stand for something, you fall for everything.
Yeah. So here's what I think. It's like the more we learn about history, and the more we learn about just like the like, well, America did these things, and some of it, 9/11 could have been the result of some of that. Just the more you start to learn that America hasn't always been this perfect partner, and that it's just starts to,
that's like the gentlest way imaginable.
Yeah, bro is explaining woke lol. No, he's like actively working through it where he's like, but I love America, but also I keep hearing about all the mean that they've done.
This is like, I do, when I hear stuff like this, I often think about like, damn, how was it for people to learn about like the Jim Crow South in the 1950s? Like, oh yeah, this thing that's like 50 miles away or whatever. Like it's so nuts.
I mean, easy answer, they didn't.
Yeah, obviously. But
they learned about it as not a real thing. Or if it did happen, it was good.
Or it's like,
and
well,
we should do,
at least they don't live here, I get it. But yeah.
Or we should do more of it.
Yeah, wait, why isn't that everywhere?
Yeah. You have awakened him in real time? No,
like, okay,
it's
well,
not me. No, this is like everyone is on their own personal journey, but I think that like I think probably like a lot how do you say
Gabor Mate?
Gabor Mate's conversation with him, I think like was probably very eye opening for him, and it probably paired alongside the unlimited amounts of child murder that he saw on his child murder that he saw on his timeline,
I also think that like, again, like Theo Von makes stuff for people who are not like 70 years old, and by definition that kind of means that like unless you are a bought and sold like Republican hack, then this is like a thing that you engage with. I can see why Jake and Logan Paul don't, but like it does make a little bit more sense for a guy like this to at least be engaging with it, like the reality of it.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be an American to me? But then at the same time, you need to be an American because you live in a country that's safe and you're able to operate here within the country. So it's, I don't know, it just makes it kind of interesting. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I get it. What you're exhibiting is a very normal contradiction that a lot of Americans, when faced with the reality of American foreign policy, they come to terms with this. Like they try to resolve this contradiction where on the one hand you're saying, well, I'm an American. I like the security blanket that I exist under, right? But also simultaneously you're like, but damn, we're doing a lot of stuff around the world. I mean, look, people always yell at me and say, oh, Hasan, you only say America bad. But I don't just stop at that. Like I want America to be good. I think America has an incredible potential. It's the wealthiest nation on the planet. It should be doing so much more to help its own citizens. and so much more to lead the way, pave the way for a new evolution of the way that we look at international relations than the way that we engage with conflict. But the reason why America is the way it is because I see it as basically, 50 corporations in a trench suit. Like it's just it's a holdover to extract tax revenue from everyday Americans and then give it directly back to corporations in the form of subsidies without ever regulating them and demanding anything in return.
I said trench
I
suit.
think one of the best
I
examples
fucked
of
up.
this was when, Russia invaded Ukraine. And then Russia is also part of OPEC Plus, so they went back to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, so take us back. Our listeners, if we get too much,
I said OPEC Plus. He's like, hold up.
Hold on. All right. This is really confident. No, I love.
Yeah.
information, a lot of them don't.
They're going to tune it out.
Well, I think if it's new information for me, I shouldn't say them. If it's new information for me, it's hard for me to go along. So OPEC.
Why are you throwing him under the bus?
I am. My bad, guys. I am the problem. So, but OPEC is the oil.
Yeah.
So OPEC is like an oil NATO. Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah, basically.
Oil
Exactly. It's a
NATO.
cartel.
Honestly,
That's a great way to.
that's not bad.
Yeah, no,
that's
he-
like way better than how a lot of people.
Yeah, he's a goddamn poet, dude. He's very good at
words.
yeah. He does have a way with words.
That's what it is. It's a group of countries that have oil reserves that basically set the price of oil barrels.
Okay.
And Saudi Arabia is pretty dominant because like they have, they are the oil
Right, they're the
gods,
big dogs. They're
basically.
damn.
Yeah, and the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. And Russia basically went back to OPEC and was like,
Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
cool.
At the time, Russia had a lot to, a lot to gain from, and all these other countries had a lot to also gain from basically limiting the price of or limiting the supply of oil. We're in the post-COVID era too, and then like they're also.
Bill Morgar, thank you for the 50 bones. Goddamn.
Were also making a lot of money or they had lost a lot of revenue, so they wanted to recoup because nobody was like flying around or using oil because everyone was like stuck at home.
Oil's been down.
So they were recouping on those losses by just basically saying demand is on an all-time high. We're not going to produce, we're not going to keep up with that demand to make sure that we stabilize the prices.
Right. So they're saying, there's only so much oil, even though there's as much as they want. They kind of want.
They could have produced way more.
Right.
So the point I was going to make is Brandon.
Yeah, the moment I start talking about OPEC, we got the Oilers in the chat. The Oilers in the chat going crazy mode, gifting. Oilers of the world unite, baby. Let's see those gift subs. Let's see those gifted subs for all the working poors out here.
Went back to Saudi Arabia. He shook hands with MBS and was like,
Maybe
hey, Brandon.
Yeah, he didn't understand what I was saying when I said Brandon. He's like, Brandon?
Joe Biden.
Oh, Joe Biden.
Yeah, he went to Saudi Arabia. He was like, "Come on, Jack."
Hold on. I like that. That like that's now gone so far around that it's a left wing meme.
Yeah,
I've
never stopped saying Brandon.
No, who does?
I literally still call him Joe Brandon.
We're in the age of Brandon, Brandonization.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Trump is becoming more Brandon day by day, etc.
Yeah. Aisha Esquire, thank you for the 10 gifted. James Samaj, thank you for the 5. Decoy, thank you for the 5. Mate Feed Art, thank you for the 20. Yeah, Brandon heads, rise up. Produce more oil. Come on, don't do it. And they were like, nope. The reason why I'm telling this convoluted story is because then we have American oil and gas industry providers, right? Like we have our own oil. Everybody always talks about how we have independence, like energy independence in America. So he went back to the American oil and gas industry and was like, all right, you guys have to produce more oil because you have to offset what like OPEC is doing. And you know what they said? That's what they said. The oil and gas producers in this country, the fossil fuel industry gets 80% of our energy subsidies. It's like billions of dollars that they get.
Subsidies
from
means that they get kickbacks from the government.
Not even a kickback. Like government collects taxes and then government gives these companies, whether they're in agriculture or whether they're in the oil and gas industry, they give money to these companies to keep prices relatively low, to keep up with the cost of the production. Right? They're like, hey, we're going to give you this money so you keep prices low.
You
But in a time,
right?
Yeah.
That was blessed.
Yeah,
I just
no,
can't let
they're
it go unpassed.
no, they're educating their audience. I like that. I like that they're defining a subsidy.
Yeah, with the Google
Because-
AI summary.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they use Google AI later down as well.
Because that company owns so much of the actual market of whatever that product is that if they wanted to adjust it, they could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even know
and they
that.
didn't provide. They just didn't supply the federal government with more oil. Like they just did not.
I
they
would
did
love
not
the idea.
produce
So like
more
Veblen
in the
has
time.
like he calls this sabotage, which is like the idea that like producers will restrict the production of something so as to like, you know, it ends up having the effect obviously of like damaging like perhaps like larger economic development, but it restricts and maintains their specific control over what their, you know, industry may be. But I just love the idea of like, I think like I would love, watching this does make me think like I would love to see like a really good like Econ 101 explainer style thing in this mode with him. It is very compelling.
Yeah. Just like artificially creating a shortage or artificially keeping supply low.
Time to stabilize prices, and you got like the oil lobby guy.
Young Dad says no one knows a lot about history. He should start a podcast. It's very funny, dude.
Is going on CNBC and actively being like, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our shareholders to maximize profit. We don't care if the prices are high, you know, sucks to suck because our profits are great. And the reason why I explained all this is because I think that's a perfect demonstration of how America operates, like the American government operates rather, where it serves corporations, not the people. And then you got China on the other hand, where like it's, you know, they got billionaires too, they got massive corporations too, but those corporations serve the government. Now that can be bad, but if the government is you know, interested in uplifting the public good and doing like even development or whatever, then ultimately they just can force corporations' hands to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, it's like the more you learn, it's
He did
you
not.
have to then
that
decide. Okay, you almost have to differentiate. Well, what does it mean to be an American to me? You know, because if I stay here and I sleep under this banner of America where I can make money and I can have, and there's a welfare system, and albeit there, you know, people have ideas of whether they're good or bad, and those, but that I stay here, I continue to stay here, I keep myself here. This is where I choose to be. You know, in the safety of this place. You know, it's like, well, how complicit am I, or am I just an American? And this is I got blessed into this place, and this is where I am. And if somebody else weren't born into this place and they were in a place that were, you know, more.
It's settlers' time, dude.
Yo, JD Pon Vaughn, J Theo Sakai.
Yeah, that's right.
We're back.
Yeah,
We're so back.
He's examining the contradictions, dude. He's
hostile and
recognizing
scary
it.
to live in and sleep in and try to survive in. Wouldn't they be praying that they would be here, or that they would have some of the same things?
Yeah,
you know?
everyone.
Does that make any sense?
No, it does. Yeah, no. What you're describing, like I said, is what leftists call like living in the imperial core. Because if you're in the heart of empire, you at the very least don't suffer the repercussions of being the victims, right?
Right.
Like you're not in Guatemala, so you're not getting destabilized by the American government in many instances, like, or at least throughout your history. So you haven't been kept down. And therefore your situation in comparison to them is going to be a lot better.
And then what do I want my life to be like day to day? Do I want it to be this constant or do I want to not think about those things and think that those are the government's, you know, some of that's the government's responsibility. I do my best to elect and vote in a way that I think is meaningful and vote for the best person. And then I try to enjoy my life and take care of my.
Mao Zedong.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Although written out, that looks like Mao Zedong, like he's Warren Zevon, but I feel you.
I don't know who that is.
Family of my
Don't
neighbor,
worry
you
about
know.
it.
I think it's like, I don't know. That's kind of how I think maybe I start to break it down in my head, you know.
Yeah. So, that what you were describing right there is basically the heart of, I wouldn't say the problem necessarily, but that is why a lot of people just like tune out, because they feel just powerless at the end of the day. You know, you got your protests, you vote, and then these guys do whatever they want to do. What am I supposed to do is like the attitude that the average citizen has in this country. And, you know, that's why things slowly but surely seemingly get worse year over year. Maybe not for you and I, because, like, I mean, we're relatively successful, but for like average people, for everyday people, it's up, and they recognize it, but they don't know who is responsible for it. And they become.
This is where then I do the classic. Then I classically do the explanation about how, like, it's not a Guatemalan that's your landlord, you know, or it's not a trans person that's sitting on the board of BlackRock.
I'm so malleable and so open to responding to anybody that will look at anybody that will recognize their frustration and say it's actually because of this and that. And I think Trump tapped into that so perfectly, and that's why he won. That's why he defeated the Democrats so handily, because he was like, yes, you're angry. I'm angry too. Why are you angry? Because woke libtards, because DEI, because trans people, because, undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants aren't your landlord. They're not the one who's raising the price of rent. They don't own the mega corporations. They're not sitting at the board of BlackRock. You know what I mean? It's not a Guatemalan migrant that's sitting at the board of BlackRock, purchasing all the houses, or they're not the real estate developers that refuse to, add to the like much needed supply of housing.
Yeah, and instead put a rag and bone in every town, dude. Well, it's just like, dude, don't tear down cool areas and just put up a rag and bone, dude. It's not cool. But no, man, it's interesting. I never really heard it put.
It's a beautiful way to explain gentrification.
Yeah,
like,
well, I also just like the idea that this like neo-populist appeal of like, we're going to get you free health care, we're going to stop foreign wars, and we're going to stop them from putting a rag and bone in every American city. They don't need to be a rag and bone in every American city.
Yeah, no more rag and bone.
Like that, like
look. This is good though. This is good. After the rag and bone thing, he goes,
No,
I've never heard anybody put it like that.
Man, it's interesting. I never really heard it put like that. Like, and then of course,
that's a good. That right there is good. Okay, having someone go, damn, I never really thought about it like that.
About it that way before.
The other things you say, these other things to people, that doesn't feel. You got to point. You have to approach people with something they can point a finger at, and it's whatever they're pointing at is close enough where they feel like it can be reached. Yeah. Right? Like those are things that it's like, but also those are things like you label, like, and Trump talked about them last night on some of the congressional address. I think it was the party address last night.
Yeah. He did like a fake State of the Union. It was a joint congressional address.
Joint congressional address.
Yeah.
Because he talked about some of those things like DEI.
Yeah, bro. They cut DEI. Now planes are falling out of the sky, man. We need to bring Pete Buttigieg back as the transportation secretary. He needs to fix the problem.
Was he a dog in there?
No.
We need black pilots, dude. First of all, black people can jump better. So how are you not going to have a black dude in a plane, bro?
I don't know. I don't know about the jumping. I don't know. I don't know how that would factor into to the pilot program.
But still, dude, if I saw Michael Jordan in the cockpit, we're gonna stay up. That's how I'm.
100%.
Like that's where I feel.
I think if I get on a plane and I see a white man, that dude better be in a polyamorous relationship. Okay, I need that dude sucking dick. Okay, I need something. If he's straight and he's a straight white male, that plane is falling, dude. That's what's going on. Trump came in, he killed DEI every day. There's another plane crash.
But is it white dudes doing it? Here's the thing.
No, I'm fucking around. I'm not being serious. Even though Republicans do think that is real, where they're like, oh, if there's a black woman pilot, that's why planes are falling. It's like, no, dumbass, it's because of capitalism. Like they've literally undercut every aspect of production to make more money. They constantly outsource. They constantly send certain aspects of manufacturing to other countries where there's like less regulation and less restrictions. That makes them more money, and that's why planes are, the doors are exploding and shit while they're flying.
Is that one of the real reasons you think it's going on?
That's 100% the reason why it's going on.
Bring it up. See if we can. That's a good question. Why? Because there seems to be these little times in history where it's like, okay, for this year, it's almost like they press a plane trouble button, and it's like, oh, now there's plane trouble.
Well, that's also because minor incidents happen all the time. Right. But the media hyper focuses on them when it becomes like a hot button topic. That's what it is. And there are obviously freak accidents as well. Like freak accidents happen, but I think there's never really like a perfect example, like a perfect demonstration of why these things are happening more frequently.
Yeah. Let me see what this even says. No, there were actually more plane crashes between January 1st, 2024 and February 1st, 2024 when you compare the same time period this year to last year. So there were more crashes.
Yeah, but the difference is the severity of like one big crash, and then people hyper-focus on it. This happened with Palestine, Ohio. Remember when the train derailment happened, and everybody was like, "Why aren't they covering this?" Well, you know, I'm a little bit of a foamer. I love trains. Maybe it's because of the autism, but like, you know how many train derailments happening every year? Every single year, 1,000. Some of them are minor, some of them are major, right? So every single person hyper-focused on this, understandably, because like they try to do a shitty ass cover up for it and be like, "Oh no, tizzy for the shizzy." What does that mean, dude? I grew up redneck. And he's like so many people I grew up with. This is honestly a perfect Hasan intro to people like Vaughn. He has some empathy for a white boy redneck. Yeah. He does not know when you're joking. Yeah, because okay. All right, you're an impartial observer.
Okay, go on.
Is it because I don't know how to present myself to someone who doesn't know me as like I'm joking now? Or is it because people assume that I'm a very serious person because of like what I talk about all the time, so they never expect me to be making jokes?
I mean, it's two things. One, like it's like the second thing is bound up with the guy doesn't know you so well, so he doesn't know that like, oh, I don't know, like, you know, like I don't know his sense of humor or whatever. So he's like, his default is just not going to be to assume you're joking. And the second is that like you have a flat affect for delivering that, you know. So it's not
you're
like,
saying it is autism.
No, it's not. That's not autism. It just means that like. You gotta, you know, like you gotta be a bit more of a theater kid about it. You gotta think, how do I stress this or put emphasis in such a way so as to make it clear that I am delivering a goddamn funny right now, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also probably autism.
And your jokes are too inside sometimes. Dry humor and sarcasm. You guys live around different groups. Fair. Like when I said DEI went away, and then that's why the planes are crashing. Like he didn't understand what I was saying.
I did enjoy. I like that doesn't even like register as like a piece of humor. It's like, oh yeah, I guess we have been saying that DEI was killing the country, so it would stand to reason that it's pretty funny to say that. The DEI is actually what's keeping the planes in the sky.
Yeah,
I could see how that's a joke. You know.
Yeah, I had to walk him through that, but it's my fault. Like, you know, I take ownership over that. True is that Jersey humor.
Everything is fine.
And there was gas leaking. Yeah, there was definitely.
Like, oh, you just feel itchy. It's normal. Keep drinking the water. It's fine that it's green. You know, shut up. But. Because of that, then everybody started focusing on all these derailments, and they were like, what the hell's going on? And it's like, there's a lot of that happens all the time. It's just the media doesn't pay attention to it, because if you paid attention to it all the time, you go crazy. It's like crime.
Right.
Crime in big cities. It's a constant.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that is, a buddy of mine was staying with me, and he's from like
Austin,
the suburbs of Portland, right? Just like a very white neighborhood. And I live in the middle of West Hollywood, and you know, LA is not like New York or whatever, but it's still a city, right? Every time he heard firecrackers or whatever, like fireworks or whatever, he would freak out. He's like, "Is that gunshots?" I'm like, "No, man, that's just fireworks. Like, what are you talking about?" And then he would hear like, you know, ambulances or police sirens, and he'd freak out because like if you live in a suburb and you hear police sirens, yeah, some crazy happened, right? But if you live in a city, you hear it all the time as background noise because you know there's always shit happening. There's, you know, tens of millions of people around.
So how are you saying that relates to this?
What I mean by that is if you pay attention to it with apps like, you know, Nextdoor and Citizen and Ring and all this stuff, you start realizing that like it's happening all the time, and it makes you go crazy. Same with train derailments, same with plane crashes and whatnot. They're a normal part of this process, and you got to look at the data and try to figure out if this is like truly unique or not. And in terms of the plane crashes, the deadly nature of some of them is unique. There have been some big ones, right? Like with the Ronald Reagan Airport one. But outside of that, like, minor bumps at the Seattle airport or whatever, like that's normal.
Yeah, and a couple of them were like these planes almost hit each other. And they would show you a video, and I watched one of them 2 times. I'm like, that is close to me.
Yeah.
And like, but they just label it that way. It's definitely kind of fascinating. And then once something happens, you start to hyper focus.
Talking about that landing video with I think it was a Southwest plane, where I'm gonna be real. That looked extremely close to me because that was the one.
The private jet that passed.
Yeah, the one that just went viral. That one to me that one did look.
Yeah, but technically nothing happened. You know?
No,
what I mean?
that's the thing with a miss is that like if you miss, if it's a near miss, it's the same thing as a big miss. Whereas like that's not really how collisions with airplanes work.
The Reddit president continues. President Trump established a strategic Bitcoin reserve via executive order. According to a social media post by the White House crypto czar David Sachs.
I will say I did see that this came out. I kept it from you as a news topic, both because who cares about crypto, but also because like I'm still really confused about where like what is a reserve and which part is the stockpile because they have they have different meanings, and this whole thing has been rolled out just like it's as if they're trying to roll it out in such a way so as to make it clear to everybody that yes. This is a rug pull. We are benefiting David Sachs. It's awesome. Just go along with it. Feels great.
Dude, this is...
what
are we doing,
We
man?
need to have strategic reserves of all of the important things in life. We've got to make sure that there's enough water for people, that we've got enough oil to, keep industry flowing so that people can get places. And we've also got to make sure that we have enough Bitcoin so that we can buy things on the dark web for the government. I think Felix made this joke recently, but it's like that really does like what is this for?
God damn.
On it more. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Affiliation I care about.
All right, I'm gonna watch a little bit more, and then I'm gonna move on.
In general, I don't.
And
think
then you guys can go watch it on your own. Okay, I highly recommend you watch it on your own and go show some love and show some support.
Either party really represents my interests. Like the Democrats sometimes will point to things that I care about, and they are.
This is amazing. Just in 1.15 trillion was wiped out from the U.S. stock market today. Every time I see stuff like this, I'm just like, dude, it is like money is so fake.
I mean, but then also like, so there's going to be like tomorrow we have a jobs report. Stock futures are already like looking up a bit of a raise, and like clearly like JD Pandan is like he had that whole meeting about the Doge thing. He's walked back a bunch of the tariffs already. Like he's clearly like when they are publicly saying we're not making rules by the stock market, you bet your ass that they are looking at the stock market.
Yeah. Well, Donald Trump today said he's not looking at the stock market. So
so that means that he is like refreshing the app over and over again.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I don't think a lot of you understand. This is true American prosperity. Okay. This is the real red wave. This is supposed to happen.
This is actually,
Like,
if you just look at the electoral map, you look at this is just normal. This is normal.
Yeah. Red is good.
It's
okay.
Like, China too. I thought you guys like China.
They're rotating to crypto. No, the White House is hosting the first ever digital summit tomorrow. Nah, we're done, bro. We're done. We're so done.
It's
honestly,
over. We used to build things. We used to be a country.
We're so done. It's great.
I guess a little bit closer to the way I see the world than the Republicans are, but I'm actively critical of both parties.
Yeah,
because I don't care. I don't care about party affiliation. I care about like doing right by people. I care about helping, putting the interests of people over the interests of profits for corporations.
Yeah, I hate it when somebody tries to label like, oh, you're MAG or you're this type of thing. It's like that. I've never wanted to be put in a box my whole life. I don't feel like there's enough parties really to represent the people.
Yeah.
And I think the more information you get and learn, I think a lot of people start to feel that way. Like, I don't know if this party really represents me, But then there's such conglomerates of so many different little pieces that they almost, you're like, well, I like this person in this one. I like this person on the chess team, or this rook. So they will get my vote because they have that player, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think as more people get more information and able to look into things more, that kind of evolves.
I think that there's one thing that transcends party boundaries, and I feel like you exhibit that tendency as well. and that is dissatisfaction with the government and the two-party system anyway. And I think Trump also captured the attention of a lot of people by making it seem like he was totally outside of this dynamic, where he was like, I'm an independent, I'm a billionaire, I'm rich, I don't give a fuck about either of these parties, you know, vote for me. And that's why you have a lot of people who love Bernie Sanders, because he's earnest, he's honest, and it's obvious that he's not like, you know, a Democratic Party dick rider. And he has a long track record of like constantly doing right by others, constantly advocating for things that like, you know, help people, even if he doesn't have much success. That earnesty has, I think, created this unique phenomena of people that like Bernie and also Trump, people like yourself, who think, well, these guys are anti-establishment. Right?
Yeah, I think one thing about Trump was like, and I was like, it made you believe, because most people knew him like from rap songs, probably from being like a rich white guy, having rich guy hair, and then from being on The Apprentice, right?
Yeah, which was a very, you want to know
pretty
something
monumental how that all shaped out.
You want to know something crazy about The Apprentice? It was one of the most diverse shows on network television at the time.
True. It also had its audience was way less white than like any other show of its kind.
Yeah.
It's like one of the like pieces of like Trump like brand appeal is that it was primarily in the 2000s like to non-white people. Like Trump's brand rep really only began to change in like that aggressively, like in like the national consciousness in a racialized way, like when he got, you know, like the birther shit. Because obviously New Yorkers would remember when Trump called for the Central Park exonerated to like the exonerated five
to be assassinated, to be killed,
exactly,
on a full page ad.
So not to say that Trump was you know, pro POC or woke at any point, because that's never really been his bag. But he did have he was
pretty woke.
I mean,
Apprentice
woker.
pretty woke. Apprentice was pretty woke for the time. I will stand on that. Like I think he was unironically doing DEI. Like
literally was,
I guess.
Yeah.
It was one of the first shows that like prominently featured a bunch of black and brown people in it. Bunch of gay people in it too. He was woke as hell. He was doing DEI before anybody else. Now he switched up. You see this? He switched up.
Yeah, I remember he gave Flavor Flav a job working at a ice cream shop or something one day. I remember seeing that episode. So yeah, I mean, he was I just thought there was a moment where it's like, oh, anybody, because you're right, he didn't seem like a political insider. He seemed like, you know, I think he's always been this, or notoriously it seemed like he's just been this kind of like shady real estate executive guy, which I think at a certain point, some people were like, oh, I'll take that. I'll take a ruthless business guy as our president, because politics has become a ruthless business. But I think, there was a thing like, oh, anybody could be president, right? So that in a way felt a little bit like the American dream, or at least a little piece of like anybody. There was a feeling like, oh, he got it. Because nobody thought he would win.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think there was that comeback piece to him, right?
Yeah. But then he was president for 4 years, and people were like, oh, okay, maybe this wasn't so good. And then what did the Democrats do? Who did the Democrats put forth? They put forth a cadaver who was like, no, we're going back to business as usual, baby. And Americans were so fatigued by Donald Trump, but they were just like, I don't want to pay attention to the television anymore. Like, sure, I'll vote for this guy instead. And then Brandon wins, and then everyone's like, oh my God, things are awful. Wars all over the place.
Biden, you mean?
Yeah, Biden. I just keep saying Brandon. I'm sorry. I'm so used to calling him Brandon.
Well, people say let's go Brandon is like a Trump thing.
Yeah.
But then I just don't want people to get confused.
Yeah, my bad. So Biden comes in, and wars everywhere, cost of living crisis, like a lot of the resentment and anger that people felt in 2016 towards Hillary Clinton because their situation wasn't so great, that caused them to vote for Donald Trump, it was left unexamined. Like it was never recognized. It was never fixed, right? So when all the stuff piles on, people are resentful again. And lo and behold, they want to put that mallet. They want to bring the mallet back in to just like hammer the federal government, because there's like, we hate the way things are going, so we'll give this guy a shot again. And that's how you arrive at Trump too. And now he is doing the mallet. He's ripping over the administrative state. He's doing mass layoffs of the federal regulatory agencies. And it's crazy to me that people don't understand that, like, these are the same problems that have persisted that he's basically worsening by
Yeah, I like being the apolitical king, dude. I'm more of an apolitical kind of guy. If you guys notice, this is 56 minutes of pure apolitical, no nonsense, all nuance, centrist line after line after line. You know, I can't reach my hat. It's too far.
Oh, here, hold on.
Yeah, here I'll. Yep, there it is.
There we go.
Yeah, a little bit of common sense politics, baby. Common sense, not so common, but around these parts is the most common. You know what I mean? All common sense, all facts, no feelings.
You know what I would say, actually?
What?
To have a space with sense this common,
Yeah.
that's rare.
It is so rare. It's so, thank you for acknowledging that, because everyone's just so woke nowadays, you know? Everyone's always like, we should trans the president. Like, that's what everyone is always saying. And I'm like, no, I don't think we should do that.
People always are saying they have their third eye open.
Yeah.
But what's it looking at? You
Yeah.
know? They never say.
Yeah.
They never say.
That's right. They don't. So I'm glad that, you know, Theo, also a political guy, had another apolitical guest on. And, you know, I just love being apolitical. It's absolutely insane that Theo is more receptive to your thoughts than the Pod Johns.
I mean, Theo's just a good, like, it's his interviewing style.
Yeah.
He's very, like, I would emphasize, like, and I don't want to, like, I mean, he went to the Trump inauguration. He has some personal views of his own, et cetera, like, and they express themselves even in this interview at moments. But, like, his whole style is to be, like, a very generous interlocutor.
Yeah. Also, I do think that a lot of liberals that have, like, developed their worldview around maintaining liberalism, maintaining status quo liberalism, and especially if they get paid to maintain status quo liberalism, they are never going to get it. Okay. They have spent their whole lives not getting it. They spent their whole lives feeling resentment towards those who they feel a sense of closeness to in terms of ideological allegiances, tendencies, but despise them for, I think, the moral honesty that people like myself or people who are on the left demonstrate on a daily basis. Okay? That's it. That's the major issue, is that those who have a well-established, fully firm commitment to global liberalism are unable to recognize where people like myself are coming from. They are so desperate to hold on to it. They demonstrate ideological zealotry way harder than like Jason Unruhe, okay? I don't know if that's an appropriate comparison, but you get what I'm saying.